Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on where you are based. Welcome to STC India. It's my pleasure to be part of this prestigious STC India event. I'm PK Gupta, Global CTO and Global Architect Lead, Global Alliances Pre-Sales, Dell Technologies. I'm also ISNIA India Chairman Emeritus, as I started ISNIA India in 2003, 18 years back. So it's really a pleasure to be back in STC India. In next 20 minutes, I will be talking about a very important topic in today's context, which is security. It is the top of the mind for CxOs. Need for security really heightened during COVID, where we have seen multiple time increase in cyber attacks. And this has accelerated innovation in data protection and intrinsic security. Let's start with some of the trends which we are seeing in technology and industry. So technology is really changing every industry. Really no secret. If we just look at some of the IDC projections that economy is going digital and 65% of the global GDP will be digital by 2025. This means that even for physical goods, 65% of revenue in the value chain will come from the digital means. And competitive advantage, therefore, will increasingly be a result of insights derived from the data and the software that drives the digital experience. As some people call it, software is eating the world, which seems to be true. Especially I feel good as I come from the software engineering background, did my engineering in computer science. So success means in this new era, delivering digital services powered by data running in a multi-cloud world. What makes this time any different? Timing is everything. As you can see, the cost of compute has gone down in last 75 years of this information era. From first computer came in 1946, ENIAC, and since then, cost of computer has really gone down. At the same time, the amount of data has gone up. As you all know, we have like 5 terabyte drives. You can just buy it under $100 carry in your pocket, while the first 5 MB hard drive was carried in a truck by so many people. So 75 years of history, we are now entering which we call inverse conditions, enabling the possibilities from mainframe era to data era. And it's not just the technology. If you look at various parts of the technology, not a single technology, but starting from users to user experience to applications to data management, orchestration, virtualization, network storage, compute, every layer of technology is getting disrupted. For example, the usage of AR, VR, especially in COVID, it has tremendously picked up. Although it's not new, it's been there for 20, 30 years. Similarly, artificial intelligence, machine learning, if you look at the compute aspect, not just about x86, it's about GPUs, CPUs, TPUs, VPUs, IPUs, DPUs, and on the kernel side, it's a lot of containers, Kubernetes, serverless stuff coming in. So it's really, things are getting more and more interconnected. It's not just about one single technology. It's about how we can make 1 + 1 = 3 or 1 + 1 + 1 = 5. This interconnection of technologies is really what's driving the digital economy. And the data is going to be 175 zettabytes in next 5 years. This projection also got updated by IDC early this year from 163 zettabyte to 175 zettabytes. So it's really about the amount of data which is creating on a daily basis from almost 2.5 exabyte to almost 3 exabyte per day. And it's not just about the traditional source of content. The source of content is emerging from various areas, as you can see, not just the home directories and file shares, but all the sensors, IoT data, archive compliance, mobile apps, AI, ML learning, deep learning, data and security analytics, video content. It's all of this which is really driving the market to the next level. With all these changes coming in for us, information security and privacy of data becomes very important issue. The data protection and cybersecurity are key pillars in the landscape. Within that, we have ethics and privacy as well. This is a very interesting view from ISNIA Data Protection and Privacy Committee. which presents this view how these are interrelated in this IT world and why they matter to us. While security is top of mind, you may have heard or seen this kind of screen about cyber attacks. These are becoming more and more common. As some say it, there are two types of organization, one who have been attacked, while others who don't know that they have been attacked. And this in this example, if you look at, there are this hackers is a real screen where hackers ask $3,000 per machine Bitcoins to give the data back or release their data. And if you have 1,000 machines, then you can think it's $3 million ransomware ask right away. Ransomware attacks are increasingly becoming very, very sophisticated. As you can see, some of these recent examples, one is a Colonial Pipeline, which impacted 5,500 miles of fuel pipeline shutdown, caused a state of emergency in 17 states in US. Although the $5 million ransomware was paid, but they still couldn't get the right decryption key, and they have to restore, go back to the full restore methods. Only 8% of the ransomware victims get their data back. So 92% people, even after paying the ransomware, don't get their data back. Another good example was early this year, SolarWinds is still being talked about, which impacted almost 18,000 public and private sector organizations, government agencies across the world. And it's seems to be the broadest, most sophisticated supply chain attack in the history. Just last month in July, first week, Kasia attack, you may have heard, a small IT software company got impacted where hackers seized computers of 1,500 businesses globally and asked for $70 million ransomware initially, then came down to $50 million, and then disappeared. So even if you want to pay the ransomware, nobody there to pay. So you are stuck. How do you take care in these kind of situations? But we are also seeing some good signs, like in October 2020, indictment of 6 hackers accused of being part of the Sandworm cyber unit responsible for some of the highest profile and impactful attacks in the past, like NotPetya virus or Ukraine attack. So it's a police and thief situation, but we need to be aware that how do we take care of these situations and how do we make sure our businesses can survive if these kind of attacks happen. If you look at some of the trends for 2021, cyber attacks don't cause mere thousands of dollars of loss anymore. The damage is in trillions, as you can see that the global total impact of cybercrime in 2021 is going to be almost $6 trillion. And 86% of breaches are financially motivated, up 15% from 71% in 2020. The average cost of cybercrime for an organization has gone from 13 million to $24.7 million. And it's not just large organizations, 48% of breaches involved is small organizations. The important part is that attacks are happening almost every second. As you can see that in 2020, the average was 39 seconds, and now that average is attacks happening every 11 seconds. On the right side, you can see some of the industry-wise impact of these cyber attacks. So if you just look at specific to Asia Pacific, the ransomware attack recovery cost has doubled from $1.16 million to $2.34 million this year, and the average ransomware also has increased, while only 5% of the APJ organization managed to get their data back after paying the ransomware. So even worse than the global average of 8%. So this is where the world is going. So, but there have been some interesting observations. As last year, we did publish our third digital transformation index report that surveyed 4,300 respondents across 18 countries. And it should not be a surprise that cybersecurity ranked #1 out of the top 3 transformation acceleration programs, followed broad remote networking and reinventing digital experiences, as it was the year of COVID. We are still not out of it, it's still going on. So while security is increasingly acting as an accelerator to innovation, organizations are still concerned it may barrier to their transformation. 30% of the respondents in our survey responded that they have concern as they build new products and experiences. As organizations continue to collect more and more information, they are aware that data privacy and its associated risk is a major concern. How are they addressing these concerns? By building security and privacy controls into all devices, applications, and algorithms. Nearly half of the respondents, 49%, understand that risk, what are the risks, and are proactively taking steps to address them by making security an essential part of everything they set out to accomplish. And this is very important note for many of you attending this session, because many of you are software developers, so how you can help in this journey of security. So let's talk about what's driving some of these changes. As businesses use technology to drive change and differentiation in the market, it's critical that we stop security from being seen as a no in innovation to something that enables these new technologies to be utilized and brings down the barrier to the adoption of new capabilities. As more and more companies adopt edge and IoT solutions, it's clear that organizations are finding it hard to control, monitor, and secure the plethora of devices being attached to their network. 200 billion devices will be there, connected devices will be there by 2030, and IT will change a lot in that, with all the data moving towards the edge from 10% being today at the edge to 75% by 2024, and almost 1 trillion transducers by 2030. So a lot of data is going to be created there. It is important to also note that attackers are using the same technology advances that businesses are using. In fact, in a recent survey of cybersecurity professionals, more than 90% of them were concerned about how cyber criminals were using AI to enhance their attacks. And it's not just theory. In fact, New Scientist magazine reported recently that cyber criminals were already using machine learning systems to go through people's personal social media posts to craft improved personal and automated phishing attacks. And there are also security benefits for organizations as they adopt more and more cloud providers. There are a lot of tools offered, but it's not just about tools. It's a lot about how our systems configured, monitored, and deployed, because regardless of who is providing the tools, there is still a need to ensure correctly configured systems and monitored. It is not surprising to hear that billions of records are exposed through misconfigurations alone every year, not through any sophisticated attacks, but just someone misconfigured the problem. So while the cloud may offer great security tools needed, the onus is always with the company using the platform to secure the data. So three factors that are really inhibiting significant progress here. One, security is incredibly bolt on. Too many products, too many agents, too many policies set across every console. An interesting stat from Gartner, 90% of the breaches result from misconfiguration and misalignment of controls. These products have become as much of a problem as solution. The second, security is far too siloed. Security is a team sport. It's not just done by InfoSec team. It has to be accomplished with a team effort between InfoSec, infrastructure, networking, desktop services. But today, there are also siloed. And third one being security has become so centered around threats and does not understand enough about applications and infrastructure, what they are trying to protect in this first place. And that has made security too reactive and too focused on yesterday attacks. So security must be transformed. We have to change this. We have to we have to help our customers transform security into something that is built in. We need to have some sort of common console that infrastructure team, security team, network team, desktop services team can actually work together on a single version of information and truth. And we are going to need a model where security isn't helping you understand threat, but also factor in the applications that are ultimately trying to protect. So looking for context-centric security, not threat-centric. So our customers' need for intrinsic security capabilities deep rooted with our product development in Dell, starting from secure supply chain. As you know, Dell is one of the best organizations in the world on supply chain management. While you can install as many security tools and solutions into an environment as possible, if your underlying hardware and firmware cannot be trusted, then your security investments are at great risk. Dell Technology takes a holistic and comprehensive approach to protect its supply chain and deliver solutions that customers can trust. We have mapped the most prevalent and consequential supply chain attack vectors, such as counterfeit components, malware, and firmware tampering, and have invested many millions of dollars in recent years to harden our processes and practices on your behalf against both physical and digital world threats. We have implemented cutting-edge programs across the full spectrum of our supply chain risk, from our threat-informed product designs to training our tens of thousands of developers on secure development practices, to secure our factories, to logistics, shipment security programs, all the way to post-delivery support and services. In sum, our secure supply chain program aligns to and in place exceeds US government promoted best practices and standards. And we continue to add additional security protocols and get better every day. Next, beyond our supply chain security programs, we incorporate a range of security features within our systems. Increasingly, the security features and capabilities within products will become less visible, more automated, and our products will be self-defending and self-healing. We are innovating numerous patents in this space, such as anti-ransomware technology within our storage devices. As one example, what better place to spot and stop ransomware in its tracks than at the storage device level, where massive encryption of all the storage files is actually quite easy to spot and interdict. And other advancement features take advantage of our unique position in the infrastructure ecosystem to make it incredibly hard for the bad guys to take advantage. One of these is our hardware root of trust. This is where in the actual factories, we embed cryptographic keys into the silicon that ensure the BIOS cannot be changed or tampered with. And then different use cases beyond advanced secure features built in across our product lines. We are also increasingly designing products that, while are not necessarily a security product, they are architected in the way that account for a threat environment, and a byproduct of their create opportunity to ensure one security posture. And a good example of it is micro-segmentation with VMware NSX. And then there are thousands of security products. That is what organizations see as new technology come to market. The great news, however, is that if the underlying feature is increasingly designed with security built in, your need for security banded will become less and less. And you will move from costly reactive security posture to one that is proactive, efficient, and seamless. You may have seen this slide in different formats. That's the Dell Vision slide. As we have already mentioned, you cannot have a trusted infrastructure if it's not designed and developed in a secure manner. Our vision is to any device, any application, any cloud on a trusted infrastructure with networks, server, storage, compute. And that's where our focus is, to make end-to-end environment secure for you to work on and focus on your business and not to worry about security. This slide just shows how our different products sets or BUs map to the NIST CSF cybersecurity framework. As you can see, probably no other vendor in the market has this kind of mapping with cybersecurity and NIST framework, whether it's Dell Safe Data, VDR, VMware Cloud Health, Dell cyber recovery solutions, data protection solutions. I'll spend a little more time in the coming slide before I close. Secure work solutions, VMware solutions. And this is just another view of the intrinsic security capabilities in the same framework, whether it is asset discovery, secure supply chain, network security, logging, threat detection, remote wiping, and data recovery. So if towards the closing, I would say data protection is a great area for us. I've spent many years, 20 plus years in this area. It makes really Dell Technologies a proven leader in the data protection area. Dell EMC data protection software and appliances are also recognized as top performer in the market with software-defined data protection, storage, and purpose-built backup appliances by industry leaders such as IDC and ESG. This leadership is delivered through our core technology innovation and upward of 2,900 active and pending data protection patents, and continue to drive modern solutions and services for cloud architecture environment. Our cyber recovery solution is best in the industry with over 750 customer installs. We have seen 4x growth in last 12 to 18 months, especially with the COVID and the ransomware attacks increasing day by day. If you don't remember anything, remember the 3 I's when you are looking for your cyber recovery solutions. Modern threats require modern solutions, and 3 key things, 3 I's. Isolated environment, which is physically and logically separation of data. It has to be immutable, preserving the original integrity of the data, and intelligence in terms of having machine learning and analytics to identify the threats. Right? These 3 things are there, you are safe. And we are the only one who comply to all these 3 requirements of a best cyber recovery solution. How does it work? Our cyber recovery solution really protects the most critical data in the vault. You can say 10 to 15% of your crown jewels, without which your business will die. I have seen some of the customers implementing for 100% of their data, but it's your choice based on the business critical needs. The vault is ideally physically isolated, a locked cage or a room, and is always logically isolated via operational air gap. Air gap technology is not new. It's been used by military for many, many years. Now it's available at a reasonable cost to the enterprises. The vault components are never accessible from production, and access to the vault target where the air gap is unlocked and is extremely limited. So this is the best solution in the market to recover while your top management negotiates the bitcoins, or they don't want to pay and just recover from existing solutions. In hours, this solution helps you in recovering from any of those attacks. So to close, this new approach to security is to make it intrinsic, preserve, and invisible. Dell Technologies really help you make your environment resilient, intelligent, and automated with security built in. Thanks a lot for your time. I hope you enjoyed this session. If you have any more questions, feel free to contact me. Thanks a lot.